All right, I went with the slats on the rack instead of the expanded steel. I think that looks cooler. And I'm starting to build the flanges to bolt the body to. I think I said earlier in the video that I'm gonna weld angle iron to the bottom of these tubes and bolt the body to that, and then remove all that fiberglass and replace it with either aluminum or sheet metal, bead rolled, something fancy like that. But the fiberglass is a little rough and cobbled together, so I'm kind of happy to get rid of that. So I started taking this piece of angle, and it's not perfectly straight, the gap here. And some very simple relief cuts in the angle kind of lets me, it relaxes the metals to a point where I can spring it in until it touches the body, and then weld it in, and then weld up these. Or maybe I don't even need to do that because it's going to be welded to this tube so much. But anyway, that's my plan for mounting the body. One here, one there, and then something simple back here. All right, I got the new body mounting flanges kind of roughed in. I got from the front hoop to the back hoop, and then a little bit here. I didn't do this compound bend area here. Back here, decided it would be better to actually go on top of the tube. And I will fully weld this and grind it down a little bit if I have to. But it was just easier to do the back here on top. But down here, I tried to hide it as much as possible. And from the outside, you won't see it. You won't see the bolts at all because it's tucked up under here. So now, I'm kind of running around the whole car here. Now the body is bolted on, again, just roughly, up here. So I can cut off all this fiberglass and then make that out of sheet metal or aluminum, and that will be permanent to the chassis, not the body. And I think that'll look cool. So I think right now I'm just gonna cut that off. The more I cut off, the easier it is to put this body on and off. I gotta come up with a good way to finish in this footwell area here. I did build a very rough framework for a new footwell up here. Just angle across, angle, angle, angle. Again, bolted to the fiberglass. And all I have to do is skin the shapes in between. So that'll be good. And now now that this is gonna be part of the chassis from here down, I can mount the steering column permanently and not have to mess with that every time I take the body on and off. There was just a hole for the column to go through, so every time I wanted to take the body on or off, I had to take the steering out, which was a pain in the butt. Now all this should disappear under the hood, so let's see if that is true. Yep, that footwell all disappeared under the hood there. So as I said, body off, fabricate the chassis, do the final glass work there, and we should be in pretty good shape. Seems like this whole project so far has just been mock-up, 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 but I want it to be just right. So I'm doing a kind of a combination tree bar, running board, step ladder type thing here. I brought it out far enough that, I mean, I'm not doing heavy woods riding with this, but this would stop it from hooking a tire on a tree. I don't think I really need any additional bracing. I think I'll keep an eye on it for a while, but I think that's good for now. All right, I got my cardboard template made. Time to transfer it over to the sheet metal. Originally, I kind of wanted to do aluminum on this, but there's a couple reasons I decided not to. Aluminum obviously is more likely to get dented and beat up, and I don't want this vehicle, I don't want to be afraid to drive this vehicle. I'm going to be flying down dirt roads and blasting rocks everywhere, so the steel here is a little tougher. And the other thing is, it's free. I had this sheet metal laying around, and aluminum's expensive, and this build is getting more expensive than I planned on, so try to save a few bucks here. I could always build new ones someday. I got the other running board on. I got to build this side. I wonder if my template for the right side will actually work inverted on this side. If not, it's probably a poorly built vehicle. We added this bar here and a support bar in the middle for this rack here. If we put toolboxes or tires or something like that, we don't want them sliding forward and bashing people in the head, so just a very simple bar there will protect people and give us more tie-down places, and it doesn't really impede our vision backing up either. All right, I did a bunch of work without videoing because I kind of felt like the video was getting a little stale. It was just cut off a piece of metal, welded on, cut, weld, over and over again. I got the steering done. I trimmed the sheet metal around it as tight as I could. That doesn't show, it's under all the bodywork. I just did a 2-bolt pillow block bearing style here, and I did a quick connect because this vehicle is going to be tough to get in and out of. Let's see if I can do it one-handed. Sure. So that'll help getting in and out. Obviously, I did all the sheet metal work around the sides. All the welds across the top here aren't going to show, so I made the bottom welds a little prettier and cleaned them up a little better. I'm trying to think what else I did. I did gussets in these 4 corners of the hoops to add a little strength, but more for looks too than anything. I don't remember if I mentioned the nerf bars on the side. I finished trimming in back here on both sides. Hi, buddy. I got the back seat area done. I did sheet metal here and obviously a shelf here, and that kind of creates the firewall. And at first I didn't want to do the seat back directly against the back seat, the firewall directly against the seat back, because I was afraid of heat. But realistically, in a vehicle like this, it's so open in the back, it's not going to get hot in there. There's a lot of air gap there, and I think that'll be fine. So I got the engine sealed from the rest of the vehicle. What I do when I make a seat is I make the base out of 3/4 inch plywood, and I nut and bolt wherever I want to have a mount, and I crush the nut in so it kind of buries up into the wood, and then basically I leave the bolt extra long, and then I can nut and bolt. I can basically 2 nuts per bolt is what I'm saying. A bolt on top to hold it to the wood, and then underneath. So that way when you foam it and put the seat cover material on, you can still bolt it on and off. I don't know if I described that right. I'll show more later. But the bottom is done. It's been done for a while. So now I got to make a seat back out of plywood, then get some foam and some glue and some staples and some vinyl. Stuff like that. What else did I do? Oh yeah, the rear hoop I had kind of left as a question mark. I just kind of left it dangling down here in space because I didn't know what I was going to do yet. I finally figured it out. I cut them off here, and then I reused the pieces. There was a small bend It's just kind of tack welded in right now. There's a small bend right here, so it kind of goes straight up and around the exhaust here. Because remember, there's going to be a U bend here. So there's a bend there, and then it just goes right up and meets in the same place as this bar. So that's the best way to get strength, is to always make two pipes go together like that, not like that, because that creates a point where it can want to bend. So always bring two joints together. So there's that. So next I want to put the body on, verify that everything clears. And as I said before, I still want to make the engine cage. So I think I've worked around to a point where I can't do any more without buying more tubing. It's so expensive, I've been putting it off as long as possible. But I think we got the bathtub done. That's what I call it. The sheet metal around the driver's feet. So I think I got the bathtub done. I'm ready to put the body back on, and that's a 3-person job now because it's so floppy and wiggly. If I tried to pick that up by myself, I would probably snap it in half. Since I'm doing final body fitment and stuff like that, I decided to put the gas tank in and see if the hood cleared it, because the original tank that came with this, I think somebody tried to weld on it because the top was like blown up and the hood just wouldn't sit flat down onto it. So I grabbed another tank that I had that, another thing I didn't like about the old tank is somebody also cut a hole in it like here and just put the filler neck straight up right through the hood. And I know a lot of cars are like that, but I kind of personally hate that. So I put this other tank on that still has the original filler there. But the trouble I was having is the hood was still hitting it. And these tanks have like a bulge in the front. So I verified that it was dry and dusty inside. I would never recommend cutting into a gas tank like this, but I knew 100% it was safe. So I cut this bubble off, and I'm going to just weld a flat piece of sheet metal across that. And I already verified that the hood fits over that. And I think what I'm gonna do is bring this filler neck just kind of straight across and put a little 45 right here and have the filler neck be here and not come straight up through the hood. So that's what I'm gonna do now, is weld that new hole shut. Again, I would not recommend welding a gas tank to anyone, but I knew this one was safe. Okay, I got the tank modified. I just rattled some, like 1/2 coat of paint on there to flatten out the look of it. So the hood should fit down flush without the tank holding it up now. And now my next question is the filler. Before I put all the welding stuff away, I want to decide what I'm going to do with the filler here. As I said before, I do not like coming straight through the hood like that. The hood kind of creates a flat spot on the side here, like here. Kind of wondering if just having a fill there would work. Just run a tube from here to there. I do have the flex coupling, and I do have a gas filler, and I kind of threw on there, the old steering column tube is close enough in diameter that I could splice together something here. I didn't like the way that steering column cover looked, and I just eliminated it and did a pillow block bearing and a quick connect there. So I think I'm going to start, maybe throw the hood on and find out where I want the neck to come out. I don't know. All right, I drew on the body there where I think would be the perfect place for it to come out. And I transferred some lines to kind of show me when the hood isn't there where to put it. So I think I'm going to do like a metal holder for the tube. And kind of hard to see. Way up there is the tube. So I gotta hug the inside of this hood here. And then, like I said, just pop through here. All right, here's what I came up with for the filler. Stock unmodified. I have the original coupling there. So this pushes on here like original. Obviously you put a clamp there, and over on this end, welded that plate there for a couple reasons I'll say in a minute. But that goes there. Two bolts go in like that. And I had to do a couple pie cuts here. That's not particularly pretty, don't look at that. But it's not gonna leak. So, filler there, into tank there. And I did verify that there wasn't any dips or anything, so the fuel should flow into that. It goes on like that. The filler sticks out over here. And that sheet metal plate that I made in there kind of helps fill in the missing pieces here. And I'm gonna clean that edge up a little bit there, but that's where the filler is gonna be. I think it kind of hides it better than sticking up through the middle of the stupid hood. So it's kind of ugly at the moment, but I'll trim everything up. I got the sides done. I think they came out nice and clean. They cleaned up the choppiness of where I lengthened the body. Got the gas tank in, got the filler done. Got all the sheet metal work done. Got these gussets done in the corners here. And the back seat area got pretty squared away. So I think this is starting to shape up a little bit here. I wanted to get this back engine cage done before I did this video, so it would kind of help show how the overall shape of the thing, but hopefully you got enough imagination to picture the rest of the shape there. Looks a little weird hanging out now, but this filler turned out pretty good. If you don't look for it, you don't really see it or zero in on it. All right, next video should be maybe building the engine. I don't know, maybe finishing this bodywork off. I don't know. We'll see. But it's looking good, I think.